So I'm pleased to introduce David Schmidt, Kellogg class of 1997, who will be presenting the Schaffner Award this evening. Dave is currently Senior Vice President at Bank of America Private Bank, and join me in welcoming Dave to the stage.
Thank you, Professor Calkin. You know, Dean Hagerty talking about community. There's a real story about community here and paying it forward. In an age when political voices question the role of business in our society, it's refreshing to honor a capitalist and entrepreneur who epitomizes the very best that business can offer our country. I feel extremely honored to introduce Selim Bassoul, who I have the good fortune of knowing through my work at Bank of America Private Bank. Selim is an inspiration to me. He's self-made, salt of the earth, pull yourself up from the bootstraps type of guy. He's my kind of guy. Selim is the American dream. He was born in Beirut, Lebanon, to loving, supportive parents, Antoine and Alice. His father was an Olympic swimmer, having represented Lebanon in the 1948 Games, where he won a gold medal. Selim was influenced by his aunt, a Catholic nun, who by example impressed upon him the importance of living a life full of compassion toward helping your fellow man. When civil war broke out in Lebanon, the Bassoul family's lives were turned upside down. They lost everything. They became homeless. I'm certain this is what made Selim the man he is today. Wanting to give their son a better life, Selim's parents sold their only piece of land so that he could come here to America, to Kellogg. While here at Kellogg, Selim could not afford an apartment. He could not afford to live in the dorms. While many of the students were getting their school supplies together, thinking about social events, Selim was looking for a place to live. He was with a foster family for 2 weeks. At the end of those 2 weeks, he was introduced to the McChesney family here in town. In their attic is where he lived for the duration of his time at Kellogg. They had an old bike in their garage that they let Selim use to ride to and from school. It was a 3-mile ride. He shared with me how it really wasn't difficult to find a spot to park that bike, particularly in December through February. While at Kellogg, Selim held 2 jobs, one working from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. as a security guard at an undergraduate dorm, and another at the Schaffner Library, checking out books. These jobs provided him an income to cover the cost of his food and supplies while meeting the rigor that a new MBA student faces. Did I mention Selim is also the first in his family to attend college? In my 25 years of banking, I've worked with many CEOs and entrepreneurs who come from humble beginnings, many, but none compare to Selim's story. It's these life experiences that made the man who sits before us today. I've been to Selim and Andrea's home. I've met their children. It's a loving, warm environment where Selim takes off his CEO hat and is a proud husband and father. But what makes Selim unique is his unassuming and humble demeanor. Despite being named alongside Warren Buffett and Steve Jobs as Motley Fool's best CEOs of all time, and despite Middleby being recognized in 2007 by McKinsey as ranking among the top 2% of all publicly traded companies worldwide, Selim never changed. He's the same person I met 10 years ago. He drives the same company car he drove 10 years ago. He's remained grounded, and I have to credit you, Andrea. I know you have an influence on that. Maybe it's these humble beginnings that formed Selim's financial conservatism. Some of you may have read that under Selim's leadership, Middleby has enjoyed an unheard of 98% employee retention rate. I promise you it's not as a result of Middleby's luxurious offices. My own father worked at West Penn Power Company, where he sat behind a metal desk on linoleum floors. Thinking back, that electric utilities offices were lavish compared to Middleby's. Selim has inspired me to be the best banker that I could possibly be, to take necessary risks and think outside the box. I work for Bank of America, a great company with a great culture. Inspired by Selim, my partner Patricia Besser and I have developed outside-the-box creative solutions for clients, many representing firsts at Bank of America, similar to the many innovations that Selim has delivered to his clients. Selim has transitioned from being admired as the best CEO in his field to being recognized, along with Andrea, as a true humanitarian. He has received many humanitarian awards for his work through the Bassoul Dignity Foundation. Selim has always felt that he wants in some way to change the world. From the time I have known him, he has always been quietly helping others. Whether it's a student who needs help covering their tuition cost or to pay for books, or a family that faces financial distress, Selim has quietly been there to help them. Selim continues to live the Kellogg way every day. He embodies the values set forth by Joseph Schaffner. Please join me in welcoming Selim Bassoul.
Thank you very much. It is exciting to be here tonight in this new campus. In 1981, we did not have those nice views, let's put it this way, at least. Maybe Northwestern finally figured out that they should build next to the lake. It seems all the buildings are all back. Finally, Kellogg got this great space, and congratulations. Thank you, Dean Haggerty. I am touched to see so many faces that I recognize tonight. And David, you made me really look bigger than I really am. I'm so touched by your kind words and your appraisal of me. I would like to take a minute to congratulate the other honorees tonight, Catherine Briggs and Chris Galvin, for their achievements and for sharing the stage with me. Tonight is a very special night for me and my family. For one, I'm being honored by my alma mater. You know, I've had other awards, but being honored here back in Kellogg has a very special meaning for me. It's all started for me in the US, right here in Evanston. Two, I'm surrounded by so many great people I love, including my family. My wife, Andrea, who has been my rock for those past years, and my children, Tony, Kiki, and Carolina, who are here and whom I'm very proud of. Many of my former colleagues are also here tonight. Tim, Magdi, Martin, Darcy, David, I don't know who else I forgot who's here too, from my team. I could not have done this journey without you. I owe you a lot. Many of my closest friends who traveled as far as Lebanon, Canada, California, New York, Florida, and right here from the city, which might take several hours to get here, or from Indiana, are here tonight. I can name some: Sam, Anis, We've been friends with those guys from kindergarten, and they came specifically to be with me tonight. Haydar, I can name Robin Ashton. I name a lot of people who are here tonight. One of my most important business relationship for us at Middleby is also here tonight. Joe Riccardi, thank you for believing in us all those years. Joe got just nominated yesterday for Brigadier General for serving in the Army. So our heart goes back to you. We salute you. Many of my competitors, whom I respected and admired, are here tonight. And they were tough. I started John McDonough, Louise O'Sullivan, Keith Jaffe. I have to tell you, it's tough to compete against you, but you made me a better person. But the biggest reason for tonight to be special is the fact that my first mentors are represented here tonight. Early on in my life, I attended the Jesuit school in Lebanon. I was taught by many Jesuit priests. Before anybody else, they understood what is known today as ADD and dyslexia. They basically taught me the process to go through school, and they taught me how to learn. Tonight, those Jesuit priests are represented by the Reverend Father Selim Bassoul, president of Notre-Dame, the high school I attended, who took time from his heavy schedule, and you know graduation is coming up. It's a high school of 4,500 kids, all the way from Lebanon to be with me tonight. Just as these friends, family, and mentors played a key role in my life, Kellogg helped me become a CEO of a S&P 500 company. Kellogg taught me to give more than to take. They taught me the power of listening and thinking large and outside any barrier or boundaries. Kellogg helped me understand that you can learn something from everyone you come into contact with. At Kellogg, I learned about value-based leadership, a sense of purpose in what you do, letting your own beliefs lead your actions. They taught me that innovation is continuous. Like you, or many of you, you remember many of your Kellogg professors who had a lasting impact on you. I would name just a few. Professor Philip Kotler taught me that the best advertising is done by satisfied customers. Bala Balachandran said, cash is a fact. Profit is an opinion. Gene Lovingood taught me about and kept on stressing that doing good while doing well has its own rewards. As a teacher assistant to Professor Al Rappaport, he led me to ponder more deeply my readings, to probe more extensively my papers. He taught me how to think. And more recently, Professor Michael Moresco shaped me to become the socially conscious leader I am today. I am so proud that my son Tony decided to follow in my footsteps in selecting Kellogg for his MBA. He graduates this coming June in 1 month. Congratulations, Tony. We are jealous. You went to a better building. I'm also proud of my daughters, Kiki and Carolina, who are helping me in my Bassoul Dignity Foundation and are coming down with me on the ground to help us help the most vulnerable amongst us. I recently retired from the Middleby Corporation after 24 years. That concluded one chapter of my life. I would like to talk to you about my next chapter. I'm approaching that chapter with trepidation because all I've known to know was Middleby. However, I'm going to take the learnings and experiences I gained at Middleby and apply them in my next chapter. As a hands-on CEO who spent so much time on the road and who worked with his team to tackle major issues facing the industry, I will be doing the same as a humanitarian, rolling up my sleeves and being on the ground. I have always been one to give back. Like many of you, almost all of you, we first give back financially. We write a check. However, over time, I have found more rewarding to give time, expertise, and emotions. So by being on the ground and seeing challenges firsthand, whether it has been going into the refugee camps you've seen on the video, or traveling to Puerto Rico right after the deadly hurricane and delivering ovens, sewing machines, and water purification system. You see the smiles of those people who lost everything, not because of something they've done, of something that happened to them. But being there with them, I am the most effective in promoting change. I challenge you each to think about this evolution. Kellogg has had a profound impact on my life. It is here I learned to think, to decide what is most important to me, and to act on it. I remember sitting in Kellogg one day with Bob Palais, and he was talking to me about volunteers in the Peace Corps. And then, 2 days later, I was reading an article about Doctors Without Borders. And I did not understand. Why would famous doctors leave a practice, go to those remote villages where they could get killed, raped as female doctors, to serve and give back, or attract, by the way, malaria, and they did it. I did not understand it then. It's only when I graduated from Kellogg that I kept that thinking of the Peace Corps and of those Doctors Without Borders. And I said, one day, I hope God gives me the power to become one of them, that I can go on the ground, leave the comfort of my home, leave literally the job. So when I told my wife that I was going to the refugee camps, we had just taken a vacation. We had at the time just a newborn. And I said, I'm going up to the refugee camps. I didn't know what to expect. So my wife said to me, Selim, you're a Christian. It's Hezbollah territory. Are you going to be safe? I said, I don't know. But I'm sure I want to make that trip. I said, Selim, what would I tell this newborn if you don't come back? I said, tell her that's what his father wanted to do. I said, but Selim, assuming you come back with some disease, we don't know what's up in the camps. I kept on thinking about those Doctors Without Borders, and I made the trip. And I came back with smiles on my face. I did not have the oven, but I went to see what they needed. And I found all those girls that would not go to school. All those women, they were 80% of the camps are women. All the men left. They did not go to school. They were searching for wood to cook. It took them 8 hours, 10 kilometers, almost 6 to 7 miles, just to search wood and come back to prepare a meal. So I'm proud of our engineering at Middleby, because that's our expertise, and that's what we tried to do. We built an oven that you saw here, and that oven has been given to refugee camps in Turkey, in Lebanon, back to our own country. I didn't think one day I will be delivering ovens to our own people back in Puerto Rico. They had no way to cook. They had no way to purify water. Those ovens provide charging the phone, electricity, and purifying water. Then we started giving sewing machines to get people to start to trade. Then we started microloans. So I'm very proud of my team. I'm very proud of my family. I'm very proud of all the volunteers at the Bassoul Dignity Foundation that made all of this happen. So as I moved from aspiration to inspiration, I wish that my story might inspire others and some of you tonight to live life to the fullest and to do what you can to help others and keep hope alive. Thank you.